Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly outlook on EU. First of all, starting off with a monthly time frame, you can see that we've reached this monthly fair value gap, right? Which is a key area. And along with that, we also have a divergence with GU. You can see that EU took out this candle's high, whereas GU failed to do so, right? Which means that we have a divergence between these two correlated assets or pairs. And this lack of alignment between these two correlated pairs suggests that we could potentially have a short-term retracement before price makes its next major move, right? Now, my long-term drawn liquidity is still higher, right? Meaning that I still expect price to go up eventually, but in the short term, because of this divergence and because of this premium key level in the form of this monthly fair value gap, I think that we could potentially see a retracement before anything else happens, right? Because of this FVG and because of this divergence with GU, I expect some short-term downside on the lower time frame before we make any major move. This is the narrative in the market context that I have on the monthly time frame. Now let's go down to the weekly time frame and let's analyze the price action. On the weekly time frame, you can see that we have the same narrative. We have the SMT divergence with GU. You can see that EU took out this high, whereas GU failed to do so, right? And along with that, this is the monthly FEG that we've got. We've tested it with this exact candle. So now my expectation for this week is that price will first of all take out this previous weekly candle low or this weekly candle low, right? This is my first short-term down liquidity. And the reason I'm expecting price to first of all take this weekly candle low is because this is the exact weekly candle that took out this swing high and along with that tested this FVG. So the least we can expect price to reach towards in this retracement profile that I'm expecting is first of all this weekly candle low. So this is my short-term down liquidity first of all. And once we reach there and we take out this weekly candle low, then I'll reassess price action and figure out and determine what could happen next, right? But as of right now, my higher time frame directional bias is bearish and my drawn liquidity is this weekly candle low. And I expect price to move towards that weekly candle low before making any bigger move. This is the market context and narrative that I have on the weekly time frame. Now let's go down to the daily time frame. Let's see what else we have right here. On the daily time frame, the outlook remains the same. We still have the divergence with GU, and the first down liquidity that I'm watching is this low right here. This is the weekly candle low, and after that, if price continues lower, then the next target we could see is this daily FEG, right? This daily FEG is my second short-term down liquidity after we take out this weekly candle low, right? The narrative is basically the same on the daily time frame like the one we had on the weekly and monthly. Now let's go down to the 4-hour time frame and let's see what kind of trade opportunities can we find and how can we position ourselves towards the drawn liquidity. First of all, you can see that last week we tested the monthly fair value gap, the monthly key level, premium key level, and since then we've had this retracement or this sort of reversal from there. What happened on Friday is that on Friday you had this move higher, and with this move we took out this exact high, right? But on GU we failed to do so, right? We failed to take out this high, right? Which means that we have an SMT divergence, and this lack of symmetry in price action or this non-symmetry in price action could potentially push price lower towards our drawn liquidity, right? And in terms of liquidity collection, you can see that we have no unfilled liquidity towards the left, meaning that we filled all of the liquidity inside this expansion leg or this swing, and the only liquidity that we have left now is below this low and these equal lows, right? All of the liquidity has been filled right here, and now I expect price to immediately expand right away from here towards the higher time frame drawn liquidity. And right here you can see that we've taken out this candle is high, right? And we've got this rejection block, and I expect price to reverse from here on the lower time frame or expand from this rejection block towards the drawn liquidity. And on top of that, you can see that we also have this another divergence with GU. GU took out this high, but EU right here failed to do so. Now we still haven't yet confirmed this SMT divergence, because on the lower time frame, I'm still expecting for a CSD or a market structure shift or an order block formation before this SMT could be confirmed, right? But this is something that I'm currently monitoring and watching. If I see a lower time frame confirmation entry and this SMT is confirmed in the form of a CSD or an order block formation, then I'd look for a bearish trade on the lower time frame towards the drawn liquidity, right? But this is something that I'm currently monitoring. If this SMT right here isn't confirmed on the lower time frame, meaning that if we didn't form any confirmation on the lower time frame, and if instead price went above and took out this high, then I'd expect an expansion from there as well, right? But if we formed an order for confirmation on lower time frame, then I'd expect a short entry from here as well, right? For this week, my directional bias remains bearish, and these are the drawn liquidity that I have in mind. First of all, this weekly candle low, and then eventually these equal lows right here. Uh, I'll be monitoring this price action closely and will update you throughout the week as this price action develops.